Hello, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to my pop up live session episode. I think this should be episode number 7, I guess. But anyways, you're welcome to the live session. 5 pillars for building a 7-figure online business. Let me know in the comments section, where are you joining us from? Where are you joining from? I know we have some regulars that are always joining these live sessions. Let me know where you're joining from, and then also let me know how many of the sessions have you joined before. Today is day 4 of the 5 pillars series. So let me know where you're joining from. Let me know in the comments section. Yeah, I can see my friends on Instagram are joining in. Thank you for joining. Let me know, what country are you joining us from? Let me know what country are you joining us from. Let me know in the comments. Let me give you a quick shout out. I can see Henry and I can see Casey. Yeah, I can see Casey joined in. Let me know where you're joining from in the comment section. Jump in the comments. Let me know where you are joining us from so I can give you a quick shout out. So we've been doing this pop-up live series for a couple of days now, and I've been addressing like the 5 pillars for building a 7-figure online business. And of course, based on what has worked for me when it comes to getting results in my own business, in my own journey as a solopreneur. I've been building out a one-man business for a while now, and it's been like a couple of years down the line. Yes, I can see someone from Ghana. I can see Koye's Gourmet Kitchen pretending like she's not my family member right there in the comment section. And I can see Coach Henry from Nigeria. Thank you for joining. And Justice and Kwame from Ghana. Nice to see you. Justice also from Nigeria. You guys should go ahead and share the live so your friends can join us on this conversation. It's going to be a very interesting one. Today is day 4 of the series, 5 pillars for building a 7-figure online business. Even if you haven't joined us since day 1, don't worry. What we are going to be teaching or what we're going to be discussing here will be perfectly tailored to you. So you can definitely take most of the things and start working with them. We don't have much time, so I'm just going to go ahead and begin right away. I can see Kelechi on Facebook. Thank you for joining. All right, so 5 pillars for building a 7-figure online business. We've been doing this for like 4 days now, and I talked about the first pillar on day 1, which was, of course, your mindset, right? We talked about mindsets about business. We talked about mindsets about yourself. We talked about mindsets about money, and we really went in depth on those things. We can't go back because of time. And then the next day, we talked about your skill set, and we talked about how it is important for you to have like the relevant skills for you to see the results that you want on a daily basis in your business. And then we went to day 3, where we talked about your vehicle, right? We went in depth and we talked about why it's important for you to have one vehicle that will take you straight to your destination as soon as you want. I mean, I just saw that Koye's Gourmet, by the way, Koye's Gourmet Kitchen is my sister. Most people don't know, but anyways, let me not drag her leg outside. So let me use her as a case study, for example. She started out in the food business about 2-3 years ago, if I'm correct, about 3 years if I'm correct. And she started by it seemed as though it was a hobby for her. And so she was really just playing around with those things. And before you know it, what happened? In the space of like 1 year, 2 years, everything balanced up, and she was able to find a gap in her marketplace, and she was able to fill that gap. And when she filled that gap, what happened? She found a very rare income opportunity. And so as a result of that, she was able to set up her food brand. And now she's one of the most respected food like companies in Edo State as a whole. I mean, there's hardly anyone who doesn't know Koye Gourmet Kitchen. There's hardly anyone who doesn't know about their burgers, their legendary burgers. By finding that one thing, she decided to go all in on it and give it all her time and give it all her energy and all her resources. And now she's been able to get some really amazing results for herself, in that business. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but finding that one thing and then going all in, laser focus on it for as long as you want, or as long as you can rather, until you see persistent results, can make all the difference for you in your business. By the way, if you just joined in, thank you for joining. Let's all share the live. If you're enjoying this conversation, go ahead and share this live session so your friends can join in, regardless of the platform, regardless of the Okay, my mic is back. You guys can hear me, right? I lost my audio for a second. Okay, so please go ahead and share so that your friends can join us on this very interesting conversation. So this is day 4, and the fourth part of the pillars, right? The fourth pillar rather is frameworks and systems. That's what we're discussing. So frameworks and systems, you will fully understand by the end of this live, you will fully understand what a framework is and why you need to be using a framework by listening to the story that I'm going to be sharing with you about how frameworks, having no framework in my business, really showed me what they call shiggy. All right. So when I started out in my affiliate marketing business, I started out with affiliate marketing in 2019. And when I started out, I didn't have any framework or systems I was using at the time. In fact, what I was really obsessed about at that point in my journey was how do I just like who is getting the results that I want in my business? How can I copy them? Well, that kind of thing. So I was really more concerned with copying the people who were getting results. And so like all I wanted was I want to make sales, I want to make sales, I want to drive traffic, I want to get traffic. So like I wasn't really in the mind of becoming a successful person. For me, it was more copying the people who were getting results so that I can get results too. And I took that attitude from my university school days. I mean, of course, when you were in the university, you used to copy. Don't lie, you. Type it in the comment section. Type COPY. Me, I used to copy very well when I was in the university. In fact, I graduated with a 2-2. And the 2-2 I graduated with was those ones that they used to call Let My People Go. That was the type of graduation. Sorry, that was the type of 2-2 that I graduated with. Let My People Go 2-2. And it showed me a couple of things because when I got into business with the same mind of copy, and I started copying my way into the business. And I was looking for people who were getting the results so I could copy them, only for me to understand later down the line that you can copy all the strategies that you want, but no amount of copying you do will allow you to copy someone else's thought process. And people who have thought process can wake up in the morning and they know exactly what they do to get a particular kind of results. But you who is just copying strategy, you're copying strategy and you don't understand thought process, you don't understand the thoughts behind it, you don't know why the strategy works, it becomes difficult for you to come up with those things on your own. And so you have to now become largely dependent on copying. So in order for you to get results, you must find who to copy. That was the state I was. That was the trap that I had fallen into. All right. By the way, if you just joined the live, thank you for joining. Type your location in the comment section. Just let me know where you are joining us from so I can give you a proper welcome. So today's topic, like I said, is frameworks and systems. And I'm telling you about why I stopped copying my way towards success. Why I stopped copying my way towards success. A lot of people in my space, in my niche, were doing the same thing. Everybody was doing the same thing. Everybody was promoting the same product. It seemed like everybody was using the same strategy. There was nothing different. And so that's why in my own niche, in my own market, it seemed or it felt like it was saturated. How many of us have felt that before? So sometimes you see your marketplace, you look in your marketplace, and it feels as though your market is saturated, but it's simply because everyone is doing the exact same thing. So that creates the image that the market is saturated. But whereas the market is just full of people who are copying each other. That's what it is in reality. And if you think that I'm lying or if you think that I'm joking, try and get good at what you do, and you will see that just by getting good at what you do, you will automatically exceed 85% of your market. You become the top 15% in your marketplace. I'm telling you, because most people don't go there. Most people don't want to get good at anything. They just want to copy their way to success. They want to copy like me. All right. So after a while, after 11 months of struggling back and forth, trying to do copy, I realized that I needed to double down and I needed to find a system that works. And I eventually did find a system that works. After I found a system that works, I started using that system, and by using it repeatedly and doubling down and scaling upon it, what happened? I was able to take my business from where it was $24 to more than 500,000 in Naira. Right, from 12,000 naira to more than 500,000 naira in less than 31 days. Okay, that's 30. Let's just say in 30 days, from 12,000 naira to 500,000 in 30 days, and that was in 2020, by the way. And you know how it was in 2020 for you to make like 500,000 in a month. Like that was a big deal. It's not like now that people are making $1 million in a week and it's like nothing. But back then, When I hit that result, I knew that, wow, framework and systems has been what has been missing in my business for the longest time. And so I decided to go crazy with them. And I went in all in. And by going all in 3 months, I had already crossed my first 7 figures. After crossing my first 7 figures, give it another 35 days, I was over my second 7 figures. I had made over 2 million naira in the business. And then another 33 days after that, I had crossed my third million in the business. Then I knew that I was on the right path. And all I needed was just to keep rinsing and repeating and keep doing the same thing. And so I kept rinsing and repeating and improving upon what I was doing. And it got me even more results. Well, if I say fast forward to today now, you guys know now. So a lot happened down the line, and I found out that that was the missing piece of the puzzle the entire time. And what was more interesting for me was that, apart from the fact that I've been able to build out several businesses since then, my coaching business, my consulting business, my consulting, a lot of things have happened, and I realized certain things. One of the big lessons that I realized, in fact, I'm going to break it down for you into 9 different steps. I really wish you can get something that you're going to write these things down. I really wish so. It's not compulsory, but I'm just saying I really wish you can get something you use and write this down. You might not remember all 9. I'm about to give you 9 practical steps towards mastering frameworks. I'm telling you now. So I'll just give you like a couple of seconds for you to do that. You can grab something you used to write, maybe a piece of paper and a pen or something. Just take it down, because it's one thing for you to have it up here, but the moment you have it on paper, it becomes real for you, and you can work with it and get results for yourself. That's all I need. I just need you to use it and get really amazing results for yourself. That's all. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and begin the 9 steps that you can use to master frameworks. And these are the same 9 steps that I took to master frameworks and systems, right? But before I go into these 9 steps, I think I should explain just a little bit for you to understand what a framework is, because it's possible you might not really understand what I'm saying when I say framework. So let me differentiate for you between what a framework is and what a system is. Now, a framework, you can say a framework is a collection of systems that work together as one. Right? A framework. It's a Okay, you guys should be able to hear me now. I don't know what's turning my mic off. Okay. So by the time you combine several different like systems together, it becomes what? What does it become? It becomes a framework. Now, there are so many different kinds of framework, depending on the niche that you are. There's so many different kinds of framework that you could be using, and you will be getting some really amazing results, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of what line of work you are, what kind of business you do, what kind of thing you sell. There are frameworks for every line of business. And these 9 steps I'm about to list for you, they work across all the different frameworks. Across all the different niches. It doesn't matter what you're selling, right? It doesn't matter what you're selling. Now, the first one. Oh, I gave you the definition of what a framework is, but I didn't give you the definition of what a system is. So let me quickly touch on that as well. So a system is basically a combination of steps, right? A system is a combination of processes that produces a specific outcome, right? So for example, my content system, the RVL system, helps me to get people to see my content, and when they see my content, they automatically conclude that I am somebody they want to work with. They automatically conclude that I'm somebody they want to learn from. It is a system, and it is created to get a specific outcome. So when you have a combination of systems, you now have a framework, right? So when you put together my selling system plus my content system plus my my positioning system, that is my branding system, you now bring my my follow-up system. When you bring all those things together, what does it form? It forms my framework, right? So a collection of systems becomes the framework for getting results. So here are 9 steps that you can take towards mastering frameworks, and you can apply this thing in your business starting this night, even tomorrow morning, right? The first step is the outcome. Defining the outcome. defining the outcome. 9 out of 10 people don't know what they are doing. I mean, where they are heading. All they want is more traffic. Traffic is not a goal. Traffic is a means. Traffic is a means. All they want is more sales. Sales is not a goal. Sales is a means. I will explain. All you want is more engagement. Engagement is not a goal, it's a means. All these things that most people are dying to get, most people are obsessing about, they are all means to an outcome. They are all means to the end. The end is, in most cases, the end is a higher income. And even that higher income is a means towards getting freedom. Freedom of choice, freedom of time, freedom of expense, the ability to financial freedom. That is the ultimate goal. That is the ultimate goal. Every other thing is a means. So defining the outcome makes you understand where you are headed. I had no outcome whatsoever when I was chasing after all those tactics and different strategies back then. And so I was really just jumping around, jumping from place to place until I found out that what I needed was a goal so that I can chase one specific outcome, right? And so what I did was I wrote down a number. And my number was 1 million in Naira. At the time, I had not made more than 12,000 Naira. So 1 million seemed like the biggest goal for me. So for you, I don't know what your own goal will be. How many of us here have made over, you have made above 100K before? Type 100K, right? Type 100K. If I say how many of us have made above 1 million, now many of us will not type it because you don't want somebody to come and kidnap you. But let me just ask you, how many of us here have made above 1 million before? Type 1M. Now, depending on where you are, depending on what income level you are, depending on how much you've been able to do for yourself before, your own should minimum 10x. Should be minimum 10x. Some people are bold. Some people are extremely bold and they will go 100x. But for me, I would say 100x is okay, right? As long as you don't go beyond 100x. Now, what I do is I always use 10 to 100x for my own goal setting. 10 to 100x, depending on how much leverage I have. So, for example, you need to set your target. That's the first thing, defining the outcome. What is your target? What is that target that you want to hit by the end of this year? What is that target that you want to hit within a 6 months period? Write it down. Put it down on paper. My own, I wish you guys would have seen mine when I wrote it down. $1 million was my target. The last one I set, $1 million. Now, I put that thing everywhere. When I wake up, that's the first thing I see. On my laptop, that's my wallpaper. Everything on my phone, everywhere I look, I'm seeing it because what? It is creating that imagery in my mind and it is pushing me towards that outcome. The thought of it, the constant thought of it. Remember what I said on day 2 or so, I think it was on day 2, when I said that whatever it is that you focus on grows, right? And it obeys the law of attraction. It grows. It starts pushing you towards it. That's why when you are obsessing about one particular thing, no matter how big it is, it's only a matter of time. You begin to, the forces, like things in the universe begin to move in your favor and push that thing towards you. And it's only a matter of time. Eventually, you find yourself in front of that thing or you experience that thing in your reality. This thing has happened time and time again. These are universal principles, right? So set the outcome so you can know where you are headed. That's number 1. Number 2 is the situation. Understand the situation and assess where you are. Because most people, they jump into a business line, they jump into a business and they are thinking like, okay, so let me just do it the way other people are doing it. But without understanding that everyone has their own journey to run, like everyone has their own journey to walk on, and just like everyone has their journey, your own journey is peculiar, your own journey is unique. You shouldn't be comparing yourself at your level 1 to somebody who is at level 20 or even level 5 or even level 10. And that was why I said that the only person you need to compete with is you, your potential, who you were yesterday. You should wake up in the morning and your only goal is, I want to be better today than I was yesterday. That's the only person you should compete with. Every other person is a potential collaborator. As far as I am concerned, every other person is a potential collaborator. So understand the situation, assess where you are in your journey, so that you can know exactly how those frameworks that you have around you can help you to get the result that you want. Right? So the third thing, once you have been able to assess the situation and assess where you are, then you want to understand the framework in question. Now, find a framework that works before you even think of understanding. You should find a Okay, you guys should be able to hear me now, right? So it's one thing for you to find a framework. You need to understand, like you need a framework that has been proven to work for other people. You need a framework that has been proven to work for other people. As long as it has created results for Mr. A, then it should create results for you as Mr. B, as long as there is understanding and the right quality of implementation present. There is no reason why something that has worked for a group of people, for example, my training that teaches how to drive traffic, there's no reason why it would have gotten results for so many people, and then when it's now your turn, it will now begin to select you and say, no, you, because your head is too big, I don't think I'll work for you. Or because your nose is too curved, I don't work for people with curved nose. Or I don't work for people who wear white t-shirts. No, these things don't select who they work for. The only difference, or the determining factor, what determines whether it will work or not, is the level of understanding and the quality of implementation. Please write those two things down. For something that you do not understand, no matter how well you implement it, in fact, you can't even implement it well in the first place, actually. No matter how much you implement it, you won't get results. For something you do not understand. But in a situation where assimilation is on point, so you understand the assignment, you know what you need to do, by the time you begin to implement, what happens? You get a result. The result is almost guaranteed. There are some of my students who create videos that go viral, and they know that the video is going to go viral before they even drop it on the platform. I'm telling you, before they even post it. Sometimes they deliberately prevent themselves, like they stop themselves from posting a particular video because they know it to go viral and they're not ready for the traffic that will come. So what they do is they will post something else, and when they're ready to go viral, they'll go and drop the viral video. So if you have a system, if you have an understanding of something, then getting results is almost predictable, because all you need is to implement it the right way, is it not? By the way, if you just joined this live, let's go ahead and share the live so that your friends can join. I am recording, but I'm not going to release the recording to the general public because it's for my general consumption. So let's all go ahead and share so your friends can join the live session. By the way, if you're just joining, my name is Kenny, and my name is Kenny. You don't need to know my surname. My name is Kenny. So let's share so your friends can join this live session. We're talking about 5 pillars for building a 7-figure online business. 5 pillars for building out a 7-figure online business. And these are all things that have worked for me in the past and are still working for me till today. And I've given you number 1 as defining the outcome. I've given you number 2 as understanding the situation. So understanding your situation and assessing where you are. And then number 3 as understanding the framework that you're using. So find a framework that works, something that has been proven to work for other people. A classic example of that is my framework called the PATS method. Many of us who are affiliate marketers, please, you can type in the comments if you're an affiliate marketer here, right? So many of us here who are affiliate marketers, you know about the PATS method, and you know that this is a proven system that has generated nothing less than $2.5 million for students who have gone through the training. And I've had more than 37,000 people who went through that training. Out of them, hundreds of them have made multiple 6 figures. Almost 100 of them have made almost 8 figures, right? Multiple 7 figures. So the results are polarizing. The results are glaring. That is a proven system that works. Now, when you find such a system, when you get your hands on such a system that works, what is the next thing that you do? You make sure that you understand the system, consume the information concerning the system, get understanding of the system. And when you do, what's the next thing? That takes us to number 4. Number 4, start small. Start Small. Start small. Take baby steps. Like most people want to do it perfect. You want to start perfect from day one. So you prevent yourself from taking action. I see there's so many people who are on this table. You will not take a single step unless it's a perfect step. And so you prepare to take the first step for 3 months. You prepare to take the first step and keep telling yourself all the reasons why you shouldn't take it yet, because you're not ready. It's not the right time. You're not good enough yet. You don't have enough information yet. You're not well prepared. It might not work if you try it now. Like all manner of things you keep feeding yourself with. All manner of things you keep telling yourself about why it's not going to work now. Whereas this is a proven system. You keep forgetting that this is a proven system that has worked for so many other people in the past. And you are sabotaging yourself every single day by not taking action. I was asking someone earlier yesterday. Okay, we were still in the day. Okay, so earlier today, I was asking someone earlier today that if you know the 2 steps you need to, like if you know what you need to do to get from point A to point B, and it is 10 steps, and you know the 10 steps that you need to take in order to get to point B, every second that you spend not taking those 10 steps, are you not holding yourself back? Are you not putting a stop sign in front of destiny by doing that? Right? Most people don't see it like this. But that's why most people at the same time don't know that success loves speed. Money loves speed. Success loves speed. If you must do something, do it urgently. As far as you understand, unless you don't understand what you need to do. If you understand what you need to do, then the time is now. Not later, not tomorrow, not next month. It's now. Right? Start small and start where you are. You don't have to start perfect. Done is better than perfect. It's better to take imperfect action than to remain in perfect inaction. So once you start taking those steps, that's the first sign towards goodness. That's the first sign towards getting results. Once you have started taking those steps, you're already ahead of everyone who is not taking any single step because of fear, doubt, and indecision. Once you have taken the first step and you've started walking towards results, your assignment is simple. Find what works. That is number 5. Number 5, find what works. Find what works. So yours is to implement the information, or yours is to deploy the framework for yourself, implement it, build the system out for yourself, right? And then find what works for you within that system. Remember, it has worked for other people before, meaning it should work for you too. Nothing stops it from working for you, right? So find what works for you. And the moment you find what works for you, it will show in form of the results that you get. Maybe you'll make 1 sale. Maybe you'll make 10 sales. If it is a traffic generation training, for example, maybe it helps you to drive, some leads into your DM. So that's result, right? At that point, you have found what works. I'll give you an example. When I started using my framework, the PATS method, it generated me my first 10 sales. And when I got those 10 sales, I thought to myself, I was like, wow, this works. I can't believe that this works. I was so blown away. And so at that point, I had to take the entire thing and look at it and just analyze it to find what worked for me within the system so I can know exactly what I need to focus on. Which brings me to number 5, which is what? Tweak, rinse, and repeat. You can write that down. Tweak, rinse, and repeat. Tweak, rinse, and repeat. Once you have found what works, that is not when you settle. When you have made the first million, that's not when you settle. That's not when you settle. That's not when you get comfortable. That's not when you get carried away. That's not when you get carried away. You double down. You tweak. You rinse. You repeat. You tweak. You rinse. You repeat. You tweak. You rinse. You repeat. You remove every distraction. Now, what will happen is, this is what will happen. The moment you find what works and you begin to double down and you begin to tweak and you begin to rinse and you begin to repeat, what will happen is you will begin to build momentum. You will begin to build momentum. And guess what happens when momentum comes? Momentum comes and it looks as though your results are overwhelming. That's when you can make multiple 7 figures in a week and you're like, wow, this is crazy. Multiple seven figures in Naira is not that much, especially if it is less than 5 million. If it's for less than 5 million, it's still less than $10,000. But some people get to that level and they see those kind of results and they're like, wow, I have arrived. Wow, I can be comfortable now. Wow. And they begin to upgrade their lifestyle. They begin to buy big phones. They begin to buy big car. They begin to change their lifestyle. They upgrade their life. They're living in a new apartment and so on and so forth. They begin to live a bigger lifestyle on top of momentum. That's a wrong move. If you celebrate too early, you will get to what looks like the peak, but it's not the peak. That's just momentum. And the moment you get to that point, you begin to decline and you will fall back down to no results. And it's like somebody who was having the foot on the pedal and it got to a particular point. And when it got to that point, he took his foot off the pedal. What will happen? You will slow down. And now, you who used to make $500,000 in a month now cannot make 100K in a month. You who used to make $1 million in a week now finds it difficult to make 100K in a week. What happened? You got momentum and you celebrated too early and you slowed down. And then you lost that momentum. Some people here right now who are listening understand exactly what I'm saying because you've gotten to momentum before and you slow down and that was how you lost your momentum. But some of us have never experienced it before and I hope you never have to experience it. So that's why you need to take down these things because I am speaking my own from experience here. So you get to that point of momentum, that's not where you get comfortable. That's not where you get carried away. That's not where it enters your head. That's not where it gets into your head. Because at that point of momentum, fame comes with it. Do you know that? When you get to a point of momentum, it can look like you have arrived, but you have not. You have not arrived at all. It can look like it, but you have not. In fact, there is no arrival because every point, even when you have exponential results, even when you have gotten to the top, which is exponential, it's not arrival. It's a milestone. That's what it is. It's a milestone. For someone who has a growth mindset, every win is a milestone, not the arrival at the destination. The moment you begin to think you are successful, you will believe it. And once you believe it, you begin to lose momentum. So yours is how do I grow every single day? How do I continue to obsess about my growth every single day and make sure that my yesterday in fact, my today will always be better than my yesterday because my obsession is today I will become a better person at what I do than I was yesterday. That's the only obsession. It's not about winning, it's about playing. The goal is to keep playing the game, not to win the game. Because those who play to win, when they win, they carry their trophy and they're gone. But those who play to keep playing, they celebrate the 15-year anniversary. They celebrate 20 years anniversary, 100 years anniversary. They sell their businesses. They build the business to a point where it becomes sellable and they sell that business. That's the difference between those who are playing to play and those who are playing to win. So never ever have that arrival mindset. I have arrived mindset. I have arrived mindset. Arrival mentality. No. Tweak, rinse, and repeat. Tweak, rinse, and repeat. I was giving one of my students advice just yesterday. We're having a phone call and I told him, I said, bro, in 30 days, you have grown from 1,000 followers to 95,000 followers. It can enter your head very fast. Because at that point, you are experiencing attention you have never seen before in your life. You are getting 30,000 people sending you messages on WhatsApp. You are feeling very hot and famous at that point in time. It can get into your head. I have seen this thing happen physically myself. I almost, by the way, I am not a saint though. Let me say it here. I'm not a saint though. When I experienced small fame, the very first time I experienced small fame, that people would say, Kenny, I want to snap picture with you. The very first time, it entered my head. I started feeling untouchable. I started feeling like I was better than other people. And it's the ego, ego is the enemy of ambition, the enemy of success, and the enemy of failure. The moment you taste what looks like success, ego comes to the top, right here at the top of your head. And before you know it, you begin to act certain ways. You don't even know when you are acting like that. It's people around you that will tell you. In this case, it was my sister who told me. My elder sister was the one who told me. She was the one who told me. She called me out and told me, I said, bro, This thing done the enter your head. I had to examine myself, and I sat down. I said, no, this is not this is not how it was supposed to be. This is not how it was supposed to be. I'm not better than anyone. I'm not better than anyone. I am only blessed. And I'm blessed to bless people because God blesses men through men. So I had to overcome it myself. And so when I saw it in other people, it became easy to identify myself. It became easy for me to identify it. So I got to understand what momentum looks like. I got to understand what exponential growth looks like as well. So even for you, when you have found what works, don't get comfortable, double down to build towards momentum. That's why I was advised in the last session we had. I told you guys that what you need is one thing, one vehicle that you will build to exponential growth. One. Everything you are looking for in 5 cash flow streams, you will find in one if you will build it to exponential growth. I'm telling you. So the advice I gave him, that's my student, I have a blocked nose. That's why I'm sounding nasal. So the advice I gave him when we spoke, I told him, I said, these results you are getting right now, don't let it get to your head. Don't let it get to your head, because at that point, you will feel as though you can't be taught anything new, and you begin to feel like you are better than everyone else, and you won't see the need to keep growing. Growth will no longer be your focal point. Growth will no longer be your focal point. Recognition is now what you will be after. You will be after relevance and recognition. Whereas the person who stays focused on growth will come and overtake you, and you become a broken record. God forbid that anybody here will ever become a broken record. I hope that none of the people who are watching this live right now, nobody here right now will become a broken record. So find what works, double down, rinse and repeat. Tweak, rinse and repeat, and then scale from there. And the moment you have gotten to that result they call exponential, you will know. Because when you take your foot off the pedal, when you take your foot off what you are doing to get results, the result will not stop coming. It will still keep coming. It will still keep coming in. So once you have gotten to that point of exponential, that's when you can now say, I want to diversify my income. Let me look for other income streams. Let me get some other thing to be doing and also diversify my portfolio. That's when you can do it. Don't allow society to deceive you. The society will tell you that you need to have more income sources. Like me, I used to give the excuse every single time. I used to tell my mom then that you can't do too many. I mean, she used to tell me that you can't do too many things at the same time. And so my response to her was, you can't keep all your eggs in one basket. I mean, you have to, you have to diversify your income, and you have to diversify your income portfolio, But eventually I found out that by focusing on just one thing, by getting laser focused on that one thing, double down, tweak, rinse, repeat, you will get everything you're looking for by trying to, spread the eggs, so to speak. So that is number 5, tweak, rinse, and repeat, and scale. And then number 6, by the way, if you're gaining some value from this session, please go ahead and share the live. Regardless of the platform you are, just go ahead and share so at least 1 or 2 of your friends can join in to the live session. This is something I do every day. It's a pop-up live. I don't announce the time. I literally just take up my phone and I just and I'm live and we're gisting. So if you want your friends to be here with us, you can go ahead and share so your friends can also join in to the live conversation. We're talking about 5 pillars of a 7-figure online business, and we're currently on the 4th one, which is frameworks and systems. And I'm giving you 9 steps to framework mastery. I've given you number 1 as defining the outcome. I've told you number 2 as understanding your situation. As number 3 as the framework itself. So find the framework, understand the framework, and deploy the framework. And then number 4 is start small. I said you have to start small. And then I also said, oh, by the way, you can share the live to your stories as well. So some of us who are on maybe Instagram or something, you guys can share that to your stories as well, right? So I talked about starting small and then starting where you are. And then I also talked about tweaking, rinse, and repeat. So find what works, tweak, rinse, and repeat. Now, number 6, all right, that's number 6. Number 6 is get trained. Get trained. Get trained. Get trained. Now, getting trained here simply means find an enabling environment where you can accelerate your results. Because if you have access, right, you have access to good information, that is enough for you to get any kind of result that you want, especially if the result has been proven to get results for other people, right? So if the information has been proven to get results for other people, then such things, when you implement them, they will naturally get you results, right? But when you find yourself a place or an environment or enabling environment where there are people who have gotten to where you are going to and have even gone past there, don't you agree with me that such an environment can become an accelerator for you and help you to build out your system and get faster results for yourself? So find an enabling environment. In this case, it could be a community, right? It could be a group coaching program. It could be a private coaching outfit. Doesn't matter which one. Just find yourself an enabling environment that you can access speed. Remember what I said about success loves speed. Success loves speed. Money loves speed, right? So get trained. Now, number 7 is make it a habit. Make it a habit so that you can form a routine. When you see anyone who is successful in any area or any niche, they all have a routine that they follow. In order for them to launch a product, whether it's physical or digital, they have a routine that they follow. Every time they want to launch, they whip out that routine. They whip out that routine and they follow the routine, and it gets them result every single time. So make it a habit. That's your system that you are deploying for yourself. Turn it into a habit that you can be following every day. Turn it into a habit. For example, those of us who want to get visibility on social media, make it a habit to create content. Turn content creation into a habit. Don't create because you are trying to get engagements. The person who is trying to create to get engagements will not last as long as the person who is creating to form a habit. Because at the end of the day, if you form that habit, I can tell you this for free. If you form that habit, you will not even care whether you get engagements or not. Because you're not creating for engagement, you're creating for creating's sake. Now, what you do to improve the quality of your creating over time will ultimately improve your results. But that is not even your motivating factor. Your motivating factor is the fact that you're creating to form a habit. The guys I'm telling you about that are getting crazy results right now, like Yole, for example, who in the last 30 days has generated more than 30,000 leads organically in his business. He didn't start out like that. He started creating and was creating consistently for a long period of time, and to the extent my mic keeps going off. I have no idea why. He was creating, he didn't have money to buy data. I'm telling you. Can you imagine that somebody would be creating content and he does not have the data that he will use to post the content on social media? But he's creating. He keeps creating. It didn't stop him from creating. He kept creating. He formed a habit out of it. Even when he was learning plumbing, he was learning plumbing. As he was learning it, he was still creating at the same time. Oh God. And then some people will still give excuses that they don't have the time. Somebody is learning plumbing full time, not part time, but still has time to create videos that go viral. And your excuse is what? Come again? I didn't hear you. He created a habit. He formed a routine. He formed a routine for himself. The moment you turn it into a habit, you become unstoppable. I'm telling you. You become unstoppable. Because at that point, you don't need discipline to maintain a habit, do you? Do you need discipline to brush your teeth in the morning? Do we have any adults in here that need discipline to brush their mouth in the morning? Let me know. I don't think so. Because it's a habit. You wake up in the morning, it's a habit, right? You don't. Form a habit. The systems that you desire, that's those things that create the result that you want, turn them into habits. That's why they're called success habits. It becomes your success habit. Once you have formed it as a habit, it now looks like you are lucky, whereas you only have success habits. And every time you're doing something, you're doing it at a certain standard, at a certain high standard that is already it's already wired to create results every single time. Right? So number eight, be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your growth. Because remember, all fingers are not equal. And everybody is at different stages in their journey. When you start out something, you start out a business, you're using a strategy, you just start. See, let me also say this. The fact that you start something at the beginning does not put you at a disadvantage over someone who has gotten to level 6. Because that person is running their own race. That person is in their journey. Everyone is in their own journey. So even though you started out from ground zero, the fact that someone else has gotten way ahead of you to level 13 or level 30, it is not a source of discouragement. It is a proof of concept. It is a proof of concept. It is a proof that it exists. When you see someone who has achieved the result that you desire, it is proof of concept, not discouragement. It is proof of concept. And it should give you assurance that it should give you the assurance and the calmness that, hey, as long as I follow this path, I will get to this destination. That's why storytelling is so powerful, right? I love telling stories a lot. Those that follow me on LinkedIn, I share a lot of stories on LinkedIn. On this new Thread app, I'll be sharing a lot of stories too. So why I share stories is simply because I understand that when people read your stories, they can see themselves inside it. Especially when the people reading the stories have similar life experiences. They are in the same journey or in a similar journey as you. When they read those stories, they can see themselves in the journey. They can see themselves where they are in the story. If I decide now that I want to tell you guys my own story now, everybody will start looking into it and they will be like, wow. Tomorrow I'm going to make a post that's going to scatter everywhere. You guys are going to see what I look like during NYSC and what I look like now. Although many of you are looking at me now, so you literally know what I look like now. But by the time you see the picture, you understand what I'm saying. I didn't edit any of the two pictures, but when you see the difference, you know that God is good. And by the time you listen or read the story that I'm going to attach to that post, then you understand exactly what I'm saying. When you tell a powerful story, people see themselves in the journey, right? So be patient. In your own journey, be patient. And don't forget to document it. Because that place where you are right now, tomorrow, will be part of your story. That place where you are lying down to sleep this night, that you say is not a very fantastic place, it's not even if it's a mat, document it. I was having someone, documentation, by the way, documentation means use your camera, and you are here in this live session with a camera, so that means you have a camera. Use that camera and document it. Take a photo, do a video, document it. Because 1 year from now, you won't be there again. So what will be the proof? What are you going to show us to inspire us? What are you going to show us that will inspire people who are where you are now? Document it. It's not when you arrive, you now go back there and go and document it. No, document it now. Right? It becomes part of the story. I was having this interview with my student who, her own growth was from 2000 on TikTok. She grew from 2,000 to 93,000 followers in 60 days. That was crazy growth. I mean, 60 days, 90,000. So I had to interview her. And during the interview, she was sharing her story. And she said, one of the things she said was that when she bought my training, She used to sleep on a mat. That was where she was sleeping. And she had a 30,000 naira per month job as a teacher, a full-time primary school teacher. She had a 30K per month job. After she bought the training, and started working with the principles and the information and everything that was taught inside, she deployed the system for herself. She built her own content system. She formed a habit out of it. And by forming a habit, it became part of her. Creating became part of her. And before you know it, she got her first viral video. And when she got that viral video, she got about 300,000 views on the video. Got her so many leads. So many leads. I remember that day the video went viral. When the video went viral, my mic keeps going off. Sorry for the breaking transmission. So she posted on our group. And she said, I can't believe I've gotten 600 followers in a day. That was what she said. She said, I can't believe I've gotten 600 followers in a day. Oluwa, I can't believe this. Is this how this thing does? Is this how it works? For those of us who have gotten viral once before, you know how it feels. It's very overwhelming, especially when your call to action says that the people should go and follow you, or maybe you send them to a link in your bio. The kind of traffic you will get. I call it phone crashing, WhatsApp banning traffic. The one that one of them got was the one, he fell sick. The kind of traffic that makes you to fall sick. But in her own case, she didn't fall sick. She only had the issues with WhatsApp, handling all the traffic that was coming in. So at the end of the day, she got a lot of traffic, and she was able to take that traffic, and a lot of them became customers. And when they became customers, what happens? Cash flow increased, income increased. So much so that she has been able to transform her life and stopped living where she used to live before. She now lives in a fantastic apartment of her own. Her income right now is at 6 figures per week, going to 7 figures per week. Not per month. 6 figures per week, going to 7 figures per week. Now, same person who was earning 30,000 naira per month. Yeah? Per month. Now, why I'm sharing this story for you, or to you, is for you to understand two things. The first thing is the role of patience, right? The role of patience. Sometimes we want to help God in our scenarios, or in our situations, in our life scenarios, or life situations, when we should be letting God. We want to help God when we should be letting God. So this lady was now able to transform all these things around. And today she has gotten to a point now where she no longer has to worry where she's going to get traffic from tomorrow. She knows exactly what she needs to do to get this traffic, because it has become a part of her. It has become a habit. It has become a routine, right? So apply patience. Apply patience. Repetition is what builds muscles. Repetition is what builds muscles. If you don't repeat going to the gym, you don't get the muscle. If you don't repeat going to the gym, you don't get the abs, right? Repetition is what builds strength. So I think you guys have gained a lot from what I have shared. I believe it was actually 8 points, not 9 points. So sorry I said 9 before. It was 8 points. I'm going to go over all the 8 again for the sake of those of us who are just joining the live, right? So I gave you guys 8 practical steps that you can use to master frameworks, the use of frameworks and systems. And I'm going to quickly go over all of them for those of us who might just have joined the live. So the first one I talked about was the outcome. So define the outcome, because everyone needs a laser target that they're going to focus on, right? And then the second is the situation. So assess your situation in order for you to understand where you are, right? Assess your situation so you can understand where you are in the journey and you can know where you are starting from, right? Your starting point. And then the third is a framework. So find a framework, a proven framework that has worked for Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, that has worked for several people, and then start deploying that framework for yourself after you gain an understanding of how the framework works. So when you deploy the framework for yourself, start small. Don't start perfect. Start small. Start where you are. Where you are right now is the beginning point of the journey. So start there with what you have, by the way. Start with what you have. I forgot to even give you guys the story of the resources I started with when I began my own journey. I had a Samsung Galaxy Note 8 phone at the time when I started out, and it was a broken phone with green screen. Like, you guys have seen green screen phones before, by the way, right? Faith man, you can send me a DM on Facebook. I'll reply you when I'm done here. So, like, you guys have seen when a phone is so bad that the screen turns green. That's the phone I started with. There was nothing showing on the screen. The power button had fallen off. The volume button up and down had fallen off. The Bixby button had fallen off. I was using my voice to control the phone. I was using my voice to control the phone. And I didn't have WhatsApp. Like, because of that, I didn't have WhatsApp. This was 2020, by the way. I didn't have WhatsApp. I would use my voice to tell Bixby that Bixby should turn on my hotspot, and then I would connect my laptop to the hotspot. And then Bixby now helps me to run my business. Bixby used to be my best friend. I miss Bixby. But some of us want to have perfect conditions before you take the first step, right? Some of us, the reason why you haven't taken the first step is because you feel that you don't yet have enough of an advantage for you to move. That's why you've not taken the first step. You feel you need a big audience before you move. You feel you need a large stage or a large platform before you move. All manner of different excuses, right? But in reality, if you don't move, then you can't have any of those big stages. Like, if you don't start building, you can't get any of those big stages, right? So I said, understand the framework and then start small, start where you are until you find what works. That's the first assignment. So once you find what works, you tweak it. Double down, tweak, rinse, repeat. Double down, tweak, rinse, repeat, because you found what works, right? Double down, tweak, rinse, repeat, so that you can build momentum. When you get that momentum, that is not when you even quit. You don't quit at any point. You don't get comfortable at any point. You don't settle at any point. You double down. You double down, you tweak, you rinse, you repeat. You double down, you tweak, you rinse, repeat. So you use that to scale. When you have scaled, you will now begin to experience exponential growth. And when you get to that point, that's when you know that you can even take your foot off the pedal. Once you take your foot off the pedal, your results won't stop coming because you have hit exponential growth already. But even at that level, it will no longer be for you about freedom. It will be for you about the satisfaction of action. There is a satisfaction. That's why you see that people who are wealthy, they still work every single day. Why? Because it's not about money anymore. Like, it's not about money for them. For such people, it's more about the satisfaction they get from achieving. The satisfaction of completing tasks, of completing goals, of smashing goals. That's where they get the joy from. I tell you, money gets boring fast. That's why someone buys a Lambo, and the person buys a Lambo, and 2 weeks later, he's looking for the next car to buy. So it's not about the money, right? So the next point I talked about was getting trained. So get trained so that you can get better at what you do. The better you become, the better your potential to make results, to create results. So it's like the more skilled you become, the more leverage you build. So it's like the more skilled you become, the more leverage you build. The more skilled you become, the more potential to get results for every action you take. You're taking the same action now, right? Just like somebody who is doing reps in the gym, right? You're doing reps in the gym. For every rep you do, what are you doing? You're increasing your endurance, right? Your tenacity. And so you guys can hear me now, right? So as you're doing it more and more, what happens? You can lift higher things, right? You can lift. Over time, you'll be able to lift way heavier things that you could lift when you first started out, right? So getting trained will help you do that. It will help you build towards mastery, right? And then I also talked about making it a habit. If you can turn the routine, if you can turn the system into a routine and turn this routine into a habit, you become unstoppable. Turn your systems into a routine, turn your routines into a habit. You become unstoppable. And then the last point I gave was patience. Give it time. Give it time. The distance between finding what works and finding it itself, and like the distance between the search for what works and finding it is time. You have to give it that time. So that when you find it, then you know what next to do, right? So apply patience. Be patient with the system Be patient with the process. Be patient with yourself, right? Be patient. In general, just apply patience. And you will see some amazing results will begin to come to you, and it will be like this, will be almost effortless, right? Anyways, thank you so much. I hope you guys have gained some value from this. Tomorrow I'm going to make a huge announcement, so make sure you guys don't miss tomorrow's session. We've already been 1 hour here, and we're only doing this for 1 hour every day. This is an impromptu live session. I'm doing this every single day, and it's a pop-up live, so I'm not going to tell you when. So if you want to be a part of this tomorrow, you feel like you enjoyed today's conversation, you can turn on post notifications on my page before you go. So turn on post notifications so you can be a part of tomorrow's session. I am not going to share the recording for this. Immediately I'm done, I'm deleting the recording. So if you want to be a part of this, you can join live. So you join live tomorrow by turning on post notifications on my page, so that you'll be the first to know when we have the session tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to follow before you leave. Don't forget to follow. Don't worry, by the time we're done with this series, you can be writing down your questions. I know you guys probably have 1 or 2 questions, so you can write down those questions. I'll take as many as possible. Tomorrow is the last day in this series, the 5 pillars for building a 7-figure online business. So tomorrow we'll take the last pillar, and when we are done, take as many questions as possible. So come with enough data tomorrow. We'll spend some time here. Maximum 2 hours will be done tomorrow. So make sure you come ready for tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting time, but I won't tell you the time. So turn on post notifications so you'll be the first to know once I jump on the live session. All right. Thank you so much for making the time to be here. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.